Memorial Stadium for another East Providence High School football game. Today, head coach Sandy Gorham and his Townies take on a tough Woonsocket Villanova football team. Sandy, the games don't get any easier.
No, Woonsocket's a great team. They're very, very athletic. It's a good matchup, though, for us because they're not as big as some of the other teams we face. And we tend to do better against athletic teams because the bigger teams push us around. We're just not big up front, particularly on defense. So it's an athletic team. We've got some kids in the skill positions that are very good, very quick. So it should be an exciting game.
Now we're pretty much halfway through the season. How do we stand here standing-wise? And of course, every game's important, but this is getting to the point where almost a must-win for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think if we win this game, it almost makes the Hendricken game in 2 weeks because we have a bye next week. Not very important, but we can afford to lose the Hendricken game and still be in the running as long as we win the next 3 games. And on paper, we should win the next 3 games after that. So this game is vital because we can't be tied with Woonsocket at the end of the year or they're going to go. So
number 30, halfback Ronnie Jackson.
And of course the atmosphere today is homecoming at East Providence. Inductees to the East Providence High School Hall of Fame are here. Will be introduced at halftime. So once again, it's part of the game, the atmosphere.
It's a great atmosphere. People love coming down here and playing against us because they get caught up in the atmosphere. The soccer coach is commenting on what a beautiful field, how big the band is, and what a nice atmosphere. And when you go to scout a lot of the other games, as we do every weekend, we appreciate what we have here. We have a great facility, a wonderful band. The atmosphere is first rate all the way, and hopefully the football team can play as well as the band performs sometimes.
Well, it's going to be a great one. Sit back and enjoy the game. Sandy, good luck.
Thank you, Bob.
Sandy Gorham, head coach for East Providence. And now we're going to go to the introductions of the East Providence High School team.
The starting tight end number 89, Matt Serpa. Tackle number 66, Jacob Francis. Number 57 guy, Steve Evans. Number 55, center, Rodericks. Captain, starting guard, number 50, John Martin. Tackle number 69, Steve Santos. Number 1, split end, Tony Lloyd. Right halfback, number 32, Max Whiting. Fullback, number 34, Captain Josh Maziar. Left halfback, number 9, Rob Fatorma. The quarterback, number 12, Brian Emerald. Also introducing captains, Alex Wood, number 54, and 85, Sean Brady. And the rest of the Townies from East Providence. The Townies are coached by John Sandy Gorham, class of 1970. Assisted by Steve Cigarella, class of 1965. Assisted by John Stringfellow, class of 1984. Assisted by Jay Montero, class of 1984. And I am Bob Figarelli, class of 1971. And welcome to homecoming.
Well, we're getting set for the kickoff, and it's going to be a great one today. As you hear in the background, PA announcer Bob Figarelli letting everybody know it's homecoming today. The team is fired up, the band is fired up in here, the crowd is ready. Halftime we'll have induction ceremonies for the East Providence High School Hall of Fame, as well as the great halftime show put on by the East Providence High School Marching Band. This is Bob Rodericks for the Townie Sports Network, along with Jim Wilson, bringing you the play-by-play for this contest. Today's contest in Class A, Championship Division, considered a key game in the state. Both teams facing a situation where it's almost a must-win. Hendricken, everybody's favorite to take one of the Super Bowl slots. So East Providence, along with Woonsocket, North Kingstown, other teams looking for that other berth, along with Woonsocket in the white and maroon. As we're getting set for the game, a little confusion here in a crowded press box at Pierce Stadium. But it should be a good one. Joining us for today's game and doing the play-by-play and color commentary is former Townie football star himself and also a former coach for these Townies, Bob DeWatt. Bob, welcome to the Townie Sports Network. We've got a good one today.
Yeah, it should be a good game. Woonsocket comes in with a very good record, and we should see a real good one here today.
The Townies will be kicking off. Kyle LaFawn deep for Woonsocket, along with Juan Maldonado.
Once again, LaFawn to Jackson deep.
Make that Jackson deep along with LaFawn. This Jackson with the ball across the 10, the 20, and rocked down by the Townies. Number 52 on the roster, Jason Royster, along with Braxton. So, nice hit to start the game, Bob.
Yeah, Jay Royster really stuck him around the 20-yard line, and it was a big hit. Maybe that's a good omen here for the Townies early on.
So Woonsocket will go on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. There's some running room. Finally, Brian Amaral and John Martin helped out also by the
Yeah, LaFawn made a good run there. He broke a couple tackles and gained 11 yards. He looked pretty quick there, Bob.
Of course, Bobby, one of the things we're going to watch for today, one of the Townies' problems has been slow starting all season, and then they seem to catch up and then pull away from their opponents. But this is the kind of run that they're going to have to stop early on.
Yeah, there was some poor tackling there, as you could see. He broke 2 or 3 tackles.
Chris Bourget, number 16, quarterback, hands off to number 30. Breaking around the end zone, go by the 40-yard line, the end line, I should say, heading toward the end zone for a Woonsocket touchdown. Lonnie Jackson.
And that's a touchdown from number 30, Lonnie Jackson.
Bob, I don't see any flags on the field, and the Townies, if they've had a weak spot this year, it has been defense.
Yeah, Jackson again got to the corner first, broke a tackle at the corner, and then was just able to out-sprint the Townies around the corner, and then broke 2 late tackles after about 15 yards downfield, and just out-sprinted everybody to the end zone. It looks like 68 yards on that one for a touchdown.
I thought he was running out of room as he went to the sidelines.
Yeah, it looked like he snuck to a little bit of crack, and again, some poor Townie tackling early on, and looks like they're gonna kick this one, number 34, Nick Saravo. The high snap he did, the holder put it down, and Saravo put it through, so we got 7-0 now.
Well, right off the bat, Bobby, with a very windy day, right now the wind at the Townie's back, but sort of blowing, as you watch your screen, towards the near side of the field, down to the corner. So it may help the Townies a bit now, but of course it will be against them in the second half.
It would lead me to believe that you don't want to be put in a hole here today, because I don't think either team are going to have any success throwing the ball today.
So right off the bat, the Townies in a hole, allowing Woonsocket to score early, 7-0. And this is a Woonsocket team that is very tough. They've defeated LaSalle, and they come into this game tied with East Providence, 1 loss.
Yeah, this is definitely a must game for East Providence today, and we'll see if they can get some kind of return here from Whiting or so that we can, or Rocha, to get back on to get them some good field positions so they can get on the board.
Max Whiting and Rocha, the deep men for the Townies. Woonsocket may not kick to Whiting, as I'm sure they're aware of his capabilities. Let's see where the ball goes. It is kicked away from Whiting. Short. Matt Serpa, number 89, has the ball. The Townies will have decent field position at their own 41.
I don't understand that a lot of times, Bob. You know, they kick short to an up back and automatically guaranteeing that they're going to have great field position. I know you limit, you know, Whiting touching the ball or one of the deep backs touching the ball, but again, you're making a short field for the Townies now, only having to go 60 yards.
Townies bring Brian Amel out at quarterback. Josh Mazias, Rob Fatorma, Whiting in the backfield. Straight ahead is Mazias.
Number 34, Josh Mazias, with about a 3-yard gain.
You know, one of the things, Bobby, this year is opposing teams have not been aware of Mazias and his capabilities. Everybody looks towards Whiting and Fatorma and Serpa and others, but Mazias has been the sleeper here for East Providence.
Well, as we saw last year, towards the end of the year, Mazias came on big and carried the ball in some big situations and gained a lot of yardage. Again, he's a guy that's not going to give you the long run, but he gives you the 5, 6, 7 yards a pop as he gained 3 on first down. And here he goes again. Stood right up there at the 45 by Jocelyn.
43-yard line, no gain on the play.
So these are the situations that Townies have to stay out of here, the 3rd and the 6th and 7s, where you would think that this would be a throw-in down here.
Passing game has improved of late with Amro. Right now we see Tony Lloyd going to the far side. Mazias, Whiting in motion.
Option.
Amro with the option, back to Whiting, across the 45, the 50, first down and more. Dragged out of bounds at about the 36-yard line.
That's just a little option there where he fakes the Mazias up the middle and then hits Whiting, options the end and hits Whiting. Perfectly executed by Amro that time. Pitched it just as he was going to just be tackled, and Whiting was able to gain 15 on the play.
Rob Baptista bringing in a call. It's good to see him back. We weren't sure that he was going to play today injury-wise, but he seems like he's back and okay. Mazias, Fatorma in the backfield. Amro taking the snap. Straight ahead, not much. Mazias.
It appears to be the plan today is to run Mazias and then to try to open the field with the faster backs around the end. But the line, the East County line here doesn't seem to be getting off the ball well and not opening up any holes.
So a very short loss on a play. Let's call it 2nd and about 10 and a half. Ammo, again the option. Fatorma this time, just about back to the line of scrimmage.
Fatorma for about 3. Again, that was a little more slow developing, because Woonsocket, when they had the ball, seemed to get to the end much quicker than the Townies here. Field looks to be in pretty good shape as always, Bob.
Field looks great. We would expect no less from Joe Medeiros, who's here in the press box with us. The best football stadium in the land.
Richard Oliver.
Joe assisted by Richard Oliver. Arrow back to pass. Has Serpa open. Matt Serpa complete to the 6-yard line. Bobby, that's a play that I think we have to see a lot of from the Townies. Matt Serpa really can make the big plays.
Matt Surfer, you know, is always there for the big catch, and there he was for a gain of 30 on the play as he caught the ball. He looked like on a straight seam pattern down the middle. And Amber was lucky to get rid of the ball as he was killed just before he got the ball off the Surfer, who made a good catch and took it down to the 6.
Fatorma. Knocked back for a loss.
Again, no line surge whatsoever here today, Bob. There doesn't appear to be any way that they're going to run the ball up the middle unless the Townies are going to fire up the ball here.
Second and goal inside the 10-yard line. Mark it at about the 8.5. Rob Baptista goes to the far side. Maziar's Fatorma, the lone backs, waiting in motion.
Again.
Emerald hanging on to it, heading towards the end zone. Touchdown, Brian Emerald.
And number 12, Brian Emerald, makes a big pitch. Goes into the touchdown for the Townies. A 9-yard scamper. Brian Emerald.
You got to give a lot of credit to Brian Emerald. His game has improved each and every game this season.
When we had seen Brian play last year in the JV States, you know, he made a few comments about how, you know, he seemed he had to develop a little bit next year if he was going to be the, you know, the starter and the player that he is. And it just seems that, you know, he's done whatever it's taken every week now. He looked really good on that run. Again, we just have a counter option there, and but it just appears there that he, you know, he kind of gave up a little bit there and didn't run hard into the end zone.
Yeah, kind of a strange-looking twist at the end of that play. I mean, it did look like it was against.
It was definitely a miss. Somebody missed an assignment there because the Whiting, I think, was supposed to be the option back, and he was a little slow coming around. And and Emerald had no one to pitch the ball up to. It was a little bit of a counter option.
Man, it looked like he was looking to hand it off to somebody who was not there.
So on a broken play of sorts, East Providence does not convert, and the score remains Woonsocket 7, East Providence 6. As we saw in the North Kingstown game, Bobby, that can come back on once you're not getting those extra points. But nevertheless, a nice-looking drive by East Providence. That pass by Emerald under great pressure, showed him the poise.
A big throw, not the prettiest thing in the world, but it was a good throw. He got it where it had to be. They got him down to the 6. They were able to go in on the next play. So, you know, East Providence was able to answer. They scored, and they were able to answer.
LaFond and Jackson deep. Roach's kick. Fine.
Fake reverse.
On the fake reverse, LaFond still with the ball, finding a lot of room.
That fake reverse looked to appear to confuse the Townies a little bit.
Braxton making the tackle for East Providence, but Woonsocket with decent field position at about the 31, 32-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. We've got 6 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first quarter.
This would appear early, Bob, that this could be quite a high-scoring game with the two teams, the ability they have to put up points. We could see a large number of scores here tonight. That was a good stop by John Martin as he stood right in the hole and didn't allow him to make any yardage up front. There, and the quarterback missed the handoff and fell down at about the 33-yard line.
Max Whiting in to help out in the coverage. Max playing 2 ways here today.
Yeah, you have a few of the Townies going both ways.
Including quarterback Brian Emerald. It'll be a 3rd and 9 for Woonsocket. Again, John Martins.
Saravo for about 3. Tackled by Martins. Well, it looks like they held that time, and I would assume we'd see a punt here, huh, Bob?
Well, I would agree with you. Also, helping out on that last tackle was Sean Grady. Grady and Martins have been a defensive key for East Providence, and they're a couple of good ones.
Number 34,
Bobby, a little different this week. We see Justin Rocher running back some kickoffs. I don't think he's done much of that. Max Whiting, of course, he's a regular back there. Well, let's see where this one goes. Whiting will get a chance to bring it back, although he had to wait for the bounce. Whiting, no blockers. Well, he makes the best of it, and he gets it to the 44.
He was one defender away from getting to the sideline there, as he just had to get by one of the Woonsocket defenders if he was going to make a break to the sideline.
So the Townies back on offense. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. They're down 7-6. Emerald has the lone setback, Mazias. Straight ahead.
Mazias about a yard on the play. Again, they're going to have to get off the ball here if they're going to try to run the ball inside. If you can't run it inside, you're not going to be able to run it outside.
Bobby, a little different look here on offense with the lone setback, Mazias, Whiting up closer to the line, more in a
yeah, you have Mazias and Fatorma there in the back, with Whiting playing more of a flanker today, as you said. And again, it's different.
This is Fatorma. Fatorma's across the 50.
Face mask. Little toss sweep there, and again, I think the attempt here is to give Fatorma a few carries, maybe to tire them out a little bit, and I think you probably see Whiting playing that position a little more as the game goes on.
Well, and if the Villanovans get low to sleep here on Whiting, then watch for him to get one of these option plays or just to take off, and they're not going to catch him if he gets into the open field. Whiting, Fatorma, Mazias in the backfield. It's Fatorma. First down and more. Still going. Across the 35-yard line. First down.
That time, Serber and company on the right side of the line was able to open up a hole, which Fatorma was able to run through. He gained about 12, and then we saw a little burst of speed there, Bob.
Seated in front of the press box in the stands are several of the Hendricken Hawks here scouting, watching the game. Of course, they played last night. First and 10. Emerald from the Woonsocket.
Wishbone now here.
Emerald, look at the pass.
Part of the problem you have with a wishbone is that you usually have one eligible receiver or two eligible receivers. That time, the only man out in the pattern was Serper, and he was on a post, and it appeared that Emerald had plenty of time, but was unable to connect with Serper on the deep post. Again, we're in the wishbone.
Carlos Rosa is the center. He snaps the ball to Emerald, and flag on a play. Motion penalty, it would appear. You know, Bob, so many times in these games we don't get to introduce, as we see the offsides against Woonsocket, but we don't really get to get all of the players announced during the broadcast. Try to do that more and more, but so important are the kids that you never hear about, the kids on the line. That's where football games are won. Kids like Carlos Rosa and Steve Santos and others. Rosa right now, you see number 55 is a center.
exactly right. The linemen are the least heralded of the group, probably the most important. Fatorma again, off tackle.
Straight ahead for a couple of yards.
That was 2nd and 5 after Woonsocket was offside on first down.
One of those linemen is 66, Jake Francis.
It would appear now that, you know, we're getting down to that 2-down territory as we got 3rd and 4 here. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they didn't get it here, if they went for it on 4th down. And here we go again with the wishbone.
It's Whiting.
Looks like he's got enough for the first down.
Bob, you can see Whiting just looked for the cut, saw a small window there, and he took the advantage.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. He was looking for the little opening, which he got, and he exploited it by cutting right up through the gap and gained about 7 yards on the play.
If you just tuned in, we've got 1:30 to go. Townies trail 7-6. We're in the first quarter. This is the Townie Sports Network. You're listening to Bob Rodericks and Bob Duat, bringing you all the action from energy-packed homecoming day here at EPHS Stadium. Max Whiting with the ball is stopped.
Fumble.
Fumble on the play.
Looks like the Townies got it back. Number 29, Ray Smith, was in the ball game. Looked like to provide a little bit of some extra blocking for the Townies as he was one back replacing Fatorma. Again, it's Smith, Whiting, Maziaz, Serper, and Baptista.
The option.
Ray Smith. End of the quarter.
So as the first quarter ends, we're hoping that the rain stays away. I tell you, Bob, you can see a few little sprinkles starting. The forecast is for heavy rain later. We're hoping this evening.
The last forecast I heard was for rain after 5 today, so we would hope that we could get it in today.
142 is worth $142, so it will be worthwhile to stick your hand in your pocket.
At halftime, we'll be introducing inductees into the Providence High School Hall of Fame as the induction ceremony was held last night. Congratulations to Induction Committee Chairman John Jack Resendiz, class of 1965, principal of Martin Junior High and president of the Hall of Fame Induction Committee this year, Ronnie Wilson, going into the Hall of Fame along with Les Carson and Steve Brosnahan.
Once again, that number 839-2836. Please come up to the booth at this time.
So I tell you, Bobby, Ronnie Wilson used to light up the ice when he skated for these East Providence Townies. Of course, now he's the head coach of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks in the NHL. Back to the action as we start the second quarter. Whiting makes a nice stop. Back Whiting down across the 6-yard line to the 5.
10-yard line for the Townies. Number 16, Chris Boyette, and number 89, Ben Jarvis, the back road. Whiting's inside his 10 to about the 6-yard line.
Exactly what I expected to see here, Bob, was the fact that they would try to get Whiting on a reverse after they broke the wishbone, and that's exactly what they did. A little toss, and then handing the ball to Whiting on a reverse, and he just used his athletic ability there to beat a couple Woonsocket defenders, and was able to gain about 20 on the play.
Dragged down at about the 3.
Fatorma for about 3 yards. got a touchdown.
And we have a touchdown for the Townies, number 34, Josh Maziard.
Josh Maziard for the Townies, putting 6 points on the board. Bob, you just had the feeling since that early breakaway touchdown by Woonsocket, these Townies wanted to atone for that.
Been old Townie since that long run, Woonsocket's long run early in the first quarter. That was Maziar's on a straight little dive behind Rosa. He was able to get it in from the 2. Wishbone again. Toss.
Back 20, before the test failed. He's part of 12, Woonsocket 7.
Again, they just appear to be keying on Whiting in the money situations, not allowing him stacking the outside, not allowing him to get outside.
And Bob, you think a factor in not having Justin Rocha kick is the wind? He'd be kicking into a very strong crosswind, it appears. Last week, Rocha, I think he nailed at least 3 perfect kicks, but it'd be kind of tough today with this wild crosswind that we're having at Pierce.
Not only the wind with the kicking, but it's the wind on a snap, on a long snap that is affected by this wind today. It is, again, very, very strong wind.
Waiting number 47 for the Townies, Justin Rocha's kickoff.
Townies regain the lead, 12-7, 10 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the first half. Rocha to kick off. Woonsocket will have Jackson and LaFond deep. Rocha will be kicking from his 40. The low one picked up at the 31-yard line, and Woonsocket will take over with good position from their own 41.
Well, we're about the 42-yard line with the Villanova will take over first and 10. Yeah.
Bob, you look across the field and you see the number of players that Woonsocket dresses, and not a very big squad. Maybe this is the kind of game where Providence can wear them down a bit.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that as soon as I got here and I was looking at the sides of the 2 squads, and huge differences on Pot Townie's many, many more players than the Villanovans here.
Brian Amro, it may not be too wild to say, might have saved a touchdown.
Yeah, LaFond broke through the line, and if it wasn't only for Brian Amro's tackle, well, again, we'd be looking at another long Woonsocket score. Again, those are the things you have to try to eliminate. You have to eliminate the big plays, and Woonsocket can stay in with big plays.
First and 10 inside EP territory.
We have flags on the play.
So it should push back the Villanovans 5 yards. We'll back them into their own side of the field. I had a big problem this year, Bob, with penalties. East Providence has done a pretty decent job. I think maybe one game there were a couple that hurt, but for the most part, penalties have not been a major factor.
Yeah, penalties kill you. And if you can eliminate the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers, then you have a great shot every week of winning.
LaFond, close to the original line of scrimmage.
Saravo for about 6 as he just went off tackle, and he's slow to get up.
So
2 guys down here, one East Providence and one in Saravo for Woonsocket. Well, it's Jackson down for Woonsocket.
So didn't get
the number of the Townie guy down. And it looks like we were mistaken, as Saravo looked to only gain about 3 yards on that play, and it looked initially like he might have had 6.
Yeah, it looked like he had gotten to that original line of scrimmage, but the ball is spotted right at midfield. So Jackson is up, and so is John Martins for his Providence. So that's good news. Good news for both squads and two key players in the game, and they appear to be okay.
It would appear like Martins will take one play off and then be right back in here. As when you get injured, you have to take one play out.
2nd and 11. Chris Bourget, quarterback. Stefan picks up a couple of yards.
Yeah, well, Alex Woods there broke through the line and was hit him behind the line of scrimmage. But he was able to still gain a couple of yards on the play. Would appear we see a pass here, Bob.
Pass formation.
It's another handoff off tackle. Gained about 5 yards until he was hit by Barry Tuthill.
Tuthill and Justin Rodericks. So Townie defense holding. It's 4th down. Let's see what Woonsocket does. Wouldn't be surprised to see Calcibieta go for it here on 4th down.
Looks like we're going to punt here.
Nick Saravo being kicking as Rodericks is waiting on him. It's a bad snap. Saravo will have to run it. Dragged down by Townie. Rolling ball. So the great rush put on by Townie and the rest of the Townie defense. Sub Clymer, Sean Brady.
It just appeared that Saravo dropped the ball. It looked like it was a pretty good stop, but he just appeared to drop the ball. And Carnady was able to fight off the block, was able to get in there and to make the initial tackle, and then Saravo fumbled it.
Something that Jared Carnady has done so well all season is rush the kickers for the opposing team. He's blocked a few, he's made some sacks. Right now, Townie's back on offense. Brian Ammo from his 45. Still with the ball, passing, looking for. Max Whiting is open.